endless sports.
He's one of our favorite guys. He's back in the game as a head coach. It is the great Tommy Leach. So, Coach, everybody wants to know, why get back into head coaching? What was it about Jurupa Hills that you just like, hey, I can't turn this down. This is too good to be true?
So, first of all, I just took off 1 year because my son, he, has autism, and like he was going into kindergarten. So we had a lot of services, right? So we had to like get him caught up on the services, and pretty much, me trying to be a good dad, trying to help my wife out. But after, kind of the year, we felt like we were comfortable. But my wife, really, I'm not joking. She's like, hey, you need to get back into coaching. You need to get your mojo back. I mean, honestly, I need football more than football needs me. And it's really a blessing. I think God's blessed me with the ability to coach, and, with all my, kind of support with my coaching staff that I work with, keep me grounded and keep, kind of like a battle cry, right? As a person, like you have that battle cry. I think coaching like gives me that battle cry. And, I've met many spiritual leaders through coaching that has helped me kind of become a better person. So, I mean, that's kind of why I got back into it. Now, why Jurupa Hills? Man, it's amazing. Like, I didn't even know it was opened up. It kind of like just happened really fast. I was going to go back and help out Roosevelt. And I was all dialed in. We were bringing my old defensive coordinator to coordinate the defense at Roosevelt. And then one of my friends, like, he was talking about, hey, look, what are you going to do? I'm like, there's not many jobs open. He's all, text me. He's all, Jurupa Hills is open. I'm like, no way, right? And I know some people through there. And anyway, interviewed there. And, a lot of the connections are through like Kurt Bruick, like at Rev, and him and I have had some good competitions together when I was at Chaparral. Mm-hmm. Always had the most respect for him and the people he's worked with. So people are over there. But, so it all happened really fast. And I'm like, wow, this is an awesome opportunity. So I'm just really excited. I know they're coming off a championship. It's just crazy because going in, not one of their coaching staff's going to stay. They're pretty much all out. And, pretty much bringing my coaching staff, who a lot of us are like, have worked with me at Roosevelt or Chaparral. Mm-hmm. So we got great pedigree. We're used to competing at a high level, right? Division 1, 2, and 3. And so we're excited to bring that kind of flavor to Jurupa Hills, but really excited, like, knowing that they've got that championship pedigree as well, right? I mean, they're champs. And like I told them, you guys are defending champs. I'm not. I've got a lot to prove. Coming back, I haven't won a championship since 2009. But I know my teams have always competed at a really high level. And, so hopefully it's just a perfect marriage. I think it's going to be. I love that administration. During the first meeting, they were all there. Every one of the administrators was there. It was awesome. Just felt really, really good. Felt blessed to be there. And it's the right place to be.
So it sounds like you already have your staff in place. You've already talked to the kids over there. It sounds like you got the ball rolling already, Coach.
Yeah. I mean, so in a way, like, it kind of is bad because I get hired on a Monday, and then, I couldn't really hire guys because, like, I didn't know, like, okay, am I official? The board didn't approve me, so I didn't want to jump the gun. And then I meet the team Monday, and the board's approving me Wednesday. So then on Wednesday, I'm talking to all my guys, kind of like I was getting them prepping them, like this might happen. And then, like, the weird thing is, then they go on spring break, right? So now they're on spring break. So I met them last Monday, and then this Monday they started spring break. So I never really got to work with them. And then the next week I'm still going to be hiring guys. So I'm like, hey, we're going to start real April 8th. I'll be there every day. Like, until the meantime, it does matter. This will make a difference of what you do in the weight room. I know they got a great trainer, Joseph, who also does a lot of weight training with them. So he's committed to doing that while I'm getting, everything else in order. And, so I don't think it's going to hurt that we're starting late. Hopefully it just gives us more fire,
So you feel like you got your mojo back? Are you excited? Your wife and the home is good right now, and you're like, okay, now I can get back into coaching and lead a program. You feel like you're excited about this?
Yeah. Oh no, I'm like really, I'm blessed to have a wife that will support me and wants me to do that, notices the difference between, me not having, uh, a certain drive or like I said, a battle cry because, I mean, football changed my life. I mean, that's the way it is. Like people got testimonies and all that stuff about, why people go close to God. And, I've always been close to God, but I've been a big time sinner, and had major issues. So being close to God and having football in my life has really changed my whole livelihood. When you ask people like, they can't believe like I'm a head football coach, people that taught me, people that I've worked with, but I learned under the best. Dave White at Edison, he's a Hall of Fame coach, and like he's the man that I just like, hey, what would Dave do? And sometimes when I don't listen, what would Dave do? It's usually the wrong thing, and then we, make a mistake. But God's put me with football to change my life. It feels like there's a purpose.
And speaking of that purpose, you feel like that trickles down to your kids too, right? Like you're the head coach of that program at this time for a reason.
Yeah. And that's it. Like I've got instant empathy with every situation. So this, like my whole perspective is not just football. I look beyond the field, even as a teacher, beyond the classroom, right? I don't just look at what happens in the classroom. I got to put myself in a position like, hey, what are they going through at home life? What kind of situation? I mean, it might be like my home life was. But and then even the ones that don't have to struggle, right, and have to get motivated in other ways to be successful. But every aspect of football, I love. I love it. I love the winning. I love the losing. I do. And people don't get that. But a lot of lessons are learned through losses. And through the struggles. And I even think like Jurupa Hills, they went 4-6 in the regular season. I think if they didn't go 4-6 in the regular season, they wouldn't have won a championship. They were battle tested. They learned from their mistakes. But everything from whether the parents complaining and having problems, me trying to figure that out. How can I ease that? Or, having trouble, even my players struggling with a girlfriend or relationship. How do I help them out? How do I help them out in the classroom? I just love every aspect of football. I love the relationship with my coaching staff, talking to you, it's a blessing.
So, Coach, you mentioned it a little bit earlier, Jurupa Hills coming off a CIF championship, Division 8 last year, going to the state finals, all that. I mean, so they had a fantastic season. So it's not like you're going into a program that needs rebuilding. They're already at a championship level. Where are you hoping to take it? Maybe, like you said, you've been competing in Division 1 and 2 and 3. Like, are you hoping to take what Jurupa Hills has already built and maybe continue on that and take it to the next level?
So, honestly, like every program I've taken over, like 2-8 Diamond Ranch, we go to the semifinals. Chaparral was 3-7 the year before I got there. We go to the finals in the Home Depot Center the next year. I take over Roosevelt. They were 3-7 the year before. We go to the semifinals. So I've never taken over a winning program, right? I'm usually like, but I'm a champion, right? And I know how to do it when you are a champion and they're a champion. So for me, I think it's a perfect marriage. I'm really excited to be there. And there's a lot of things they could do. Like I know they didn't win league last year. I know they didn't beat Glendora last year. There's a lot of things that they didn't do that we could do. We could be league champs, right? They weren't league champs. They weren't state champs. We could be state champs. So there's a lot of unfinished business. Obviously, my pedigree, I'd like to compete at the highest level and try to get our players to, expect to win. Let's say they were in Division 6. Okay, well, let's win Division 6. Let's say we go to Division 5. Let's win in Division 5. Any division we get placed in, let's go ahead and win it, right? And that should be our expectation. And I think I got the coaching staff that kind of backs me up in that vision. And I'm really excited to, try to get those players to back me up in that division. And I mean, that vision. And I know the coaching staff before me, they did an awesome job. I know they're all going to pretty much rolling, most of them. Mm-hmm. I tried to keep a couple of them, but they were like, hey, whatever, I get it. But they did a great job and they should be congratulated. But I'm hoping to just, take what they did and even build it better.
Yeah, I don't know if you talked about that Bruick, coaching tree and all the people he knows. Yeah. Cedos Marina is a great guy at Jurupa Hills. Yeah. And congrats to him on that rolling job. So Tommy, what's the next couple of months look like for you in terms of getting the team ready? You talked about their spring break right now, but as soon as they get back, is it weight room? Are you a big 7-on-7 guy? Like, what's the next couple of months going to look like for you?
So we'll start April 8th, and we're going to start Monday Night Football. So every Monday nights we're going to be practicing, but we're going to be lifting and running and doing all that stuff through in period. And then we'll do Monday Night Football. And then come spring, obviously we're going to go, 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, lifting, running, practicing. I'm not really a big 7-on-7 guy. We do it. I mean, a lot of them get a lot of that 7-on-7 in the off season when they're throwing with their passing, guys, which is cool. And I love that. But I don't, I mean, I like to throw, but I don't put too much stock into it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll give you an example. We're at Edison one year, and I created that Battle at the Beach tournament, right? I'm the one that created it. And so we're playing a team, Cyprus, and we're like in the quarterfinals, whatever. And they beat us, right? And they're talking, all their players, their coaches are talking. And my wife, my head coach, Coach White, he's like, we'll see you game one. Well, we played them game one. And at game one, it was 62-0 at half. So that it tells you something about it. Now, with that said, many teams that are successful in the passing league are successful on the field too. So I'm saying it doesn't translate, but some of it doesn't, right?
Sure.
And it's not real football. Another example, like teams we played before wouldn't even play my teams, right? But they'll throw against us, but they're not going to play us. So, but it is fun. I like them to kind of like learn sportsmanship and things like that, because I know some of 7-on-7, like on the other end where it's not like regulated through their high school coaches, gets a little crazy. So sometimes when they come, you got to kind of like teach them lessons like, hey, look, you can't do that here. We got to be, we're representing the high school now and all that stuff. But, and I'm not knocking the other stuff too, because there's a lot of great coaches out there too that I have great relationships with that do an amazing job. But sometimes that gets a bad name, right?
Yeah.
It does get a bad name. And, but as far as 7-on-7 goes, we'll throw some, we'll be in a couple tournaments, but I don't put much stock into it at all.
Well, Coach, listen, I got to run, but I really appreciate our conversations. as soon as I got hit up and they're like, hey, the great Tommy Leach is back in the game, I'm like, oh, it's about time. Let's do this. So congratulations, Coach. I'm really excited for you and Jurupa Hills too.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate you, Pep. I love you, man. All you do. Blessed to have you work in high school sports. So thanks for having me on.
You got it. That's Tommy Leach, the new head football coach for Jurupa Hills. Endless Sport.